And I haven't started my stream yet.
Okay. Oh, we'll get in here. There we go. See, are you going yet?
I
Okay.
am now.
All
I
right.
just went live.
All right. Let's say I'm in one of the combines. I assume we're cutting here.
Actually, know what I should do. Okay, let's do it this way. Sorry, I'm messing with my
Oh, that's all right.
what I'm gonna have on TV and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll put you on TV, and
There.
then I'll have my stream on my phone.
Hang on, I was gonna turn it down, but yeah. There we go. So, that. All right. Yeah, and we'll get into it here. Oh, gotta lower the header first. Come on. Oh, nope. Working just a little bit laggy there. That's all right. Well, it looks like we got a couple other people watching, maybe. So cool. All right. Rolling here, I guess. Yeah, it's odd. My restream preview isn't really working how I think it should be. Let me double check
I'm gonna look up
something.
mine.
Yeah, I don't know. Normally it shows, but
Oh, mine's just sitting there spinning too. Oh, there it goes.
did it pick up? Okay, it's
Yep.
okay, it's working. No, I had to check little technical difficulties. Okay, there we go. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I have it in the background so I can see what's going on. It's not showing it. Let me refresh.
Hey, casual.
Hey, yeah, welcome in. Dang, thing. Oh well, whatever. Thought I had on YouTube. I had my. Oh, that's weird. It's not. Well, whatever. It's broadcasting. I assume.
Yeah,
People are
I'm watching
watching.
it.
I don't know. For whatever
I've got
reason,
it
my
on my
preview isn't
TV.
working, but that's okay. That's okay. I just can't watch. Make sure it isn't stuttery.
Oh, it doesn't
Eh,
look stuttery to me.
okay, good. Is it looking good out there, casual? And the audio from both sides on my stream?
Yeah, the audio I can't help you with,
Well,
but
I know.
the
I want
visual I can.
I want to make sure because for whatever reason, I usually have my preview off to the side and just so I can tell it's doing something. Um, I can't have my windows all laid out and overlaid. I still need to get a second monitor. And the second monitor that I'm going to buy is like $130. I mean it's I mean that's I mean that's not chump change, but it's also it's not going to break the bank. It's not like having to buy or thinking to buy like a $300-400 half decent monitor. This is purely
Yeah.
just extra. So I should just, I guess I have one in the wish list. It's like on an Amazon wish list. I just forget to go there and put it in my cart, I guess. Good deal. Thanks for checking that out. I guess we're real professionals, right? They have the bugs worked out by now. But
No, I've always heard that a streamer, there's always something going wrong.
yeah. Well, I'm talking about like, I don't watch those type of people, but I hear like big streamers like Dream and XQC or something or other, or XQ or whatever. Where they're like on all the time. It's like, actually, Jack's Films is live right now, which I sometimes like to watch his live streams. It never seems like it's trouble. Then sometimes. Yeah, well, this isn't really a problem. It's just mostly I wasn't sure if I was actually live on, or if it was actually pumping something through. But the stats are going. It's showing my bit rates and delay. It must be working. It's just not outputting a signal on the preview. OBS.
You're asking it to work too hard.
Yeah. But anyway, let's just get right into it. I give you a recap of the car show. If you follow, you're watching archive. You follow me on social media or my YouTube channel. I posted some shorts and things and pictures from 2023 KBPI Rock and Roll Car Show. KBPI is a local rock radio station. Area, and this is the 20th anniversary. It's the last one they're doing at Vandermeer Speedway, which is a well-known drag strip. That's the whole story we'll kind of get into. But before I forget about it, there was a cup. They always have live music there, and headland. They always have live music there, and they stage set up. And anyway, I didn't know who was playing it. I never watched, but I heard one song that when they were warming up, I recognized that gets played on the radio. But
I know the one band that was going to be there.
Okay,
I don't know
well,
them all. But...
Well, here, I'll show it up because I got back of the T-shirt here. I know you can't of it, but the viewers maybe can. Hopefully, my view's working.
Well, I can see it. I'm on your stream.
Oh, okay. Well, is it showing up? Sort of. But you won't be able to read. But it had the three bands: Saving Abel, Cairo Knife Fight, Jared James Nichols. Any of those you've heard?
Yeah.
Heard of?
Yeah, you should know. You should know who Saving Abel is.
I don't know, but do they? Does one of their songs get played on KBPI? Because I know you listen on the
yeah.
Okay, then
they've been around for like 15 years.
Okay, well, I didn't know their name.
Yeah, that actually there's more than one song that gets played on KBPI.
Well, yeah, I don't know the name of the song. Katie was playing me the song before, and we sent you a snap or something. It was on whatever Trip kind of dancing in his stroller.
Yeah.
They were warming up but Katie was saying there's a band by a similar name. They're from Kearney or a Tri-City area there, but that's not the same one, right?
No, she might have been. So that band got really big about 10-15 years ago. They're a national act, and then they kind of fell off the radar, so to speak. but they come to Kearney quite often
Maybe
to
that's
play.
what she meant.
They're still going. I'm sure she's seen them in Kearney.
Okay, well maybe that's the thing.
She maybe just didn't know that was them, but yeah.
Okay, so it would be the same. Okay, band
Yeah.
that she's probably could go. Hang on, maybe I'll do that.
There's a lot of those early there's
Okay,
a
hang on.
bunch of
While
those
we're
early
talking about,
2000 bands
let me
that are
go get her.
still.
Be right back. Okay, hang on. I'm getting her here just to make sure we're um talking the same thing here. You tell her what. So anyway, the Saving Abel, you is that the one you're saying that was like something Kearney or the Tri Cities or whatever? Well, what? Well,
I was
got to speak up. What? What band? Well, we were just talking about it, so.
Well, but they were around the early 2000s is when they blew up.
About?
And they've been to Kearney several times. In fact, I've seen them in Kearney several times.
Okay, so it might be the.
well, I'm thinking.
What's the song you just played me? The name.
Addicted.
Addicted.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Addicted and Drowning is the other really, really big one.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't. They would get.
Yeah, no, they were. So
Was them,
the thing
okay.
the thing is they were really big, and then they kind of fell down the fame ladder. I don't know how else to explain it, but
I was like, well,
but
they've got like music videos, but yet
yeah, they
small enough.
They've
Something.
and yeah, so they tour. They come to Kearney all the time. They tour around the Midwest all the time.
Okay, well, that's what
because there's. Yep, they do. It's still the same band. It's a different lead singer, still same band. But yeah, it's they're national act. They just aren't as popular, I guess, is maybe probably what I should say, than what they were at one point in time.
Yes.
There's a bunch of those bands from the 2000s that are like that.
Okay, well,
they come through Kearney all the time, and we used one of them. You and I went to the concert in Denver. Saliva.
Well, Saliva, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
But I remember. Yeah, I mean, I remember that. But this,
well,
this I just didn't remember. But it's like when they were warming up, they were playing part of that song and all. I didn't stay for any of that because they start later in the afternoon.
Yeah,
I leave after the awards and everything. So,
and I think that Cairo, I think they are. I think I've heard of them before, but they're like a newer band that's only got like one or two songs out there.
Okay. Well, anyway, they're on the T-shirt. But anyway, this car show was good. I mean, it was completely packed. Where last year and the year before, of course, kind of that was still reeling from COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
And Vandermeer got in trouble. Well, didn't get. Local authorities were going to have their panties in a twist because they were having events and all. But anyway, they were having events over with more than 100 people. They were having that old bureaucratic thing. Anyway, but last year was kind of disappointing. I mean, it's not not as many people showed up and all that. But this, and I think a lot to do with last year at Bandemers, and it's still really up in the air of where Bandemers not gone, but it's gonna where they're gonna move and all. Nobody, and then there's probably gonna be I would think have to be at least 1 year, if not more, hiatus of anything so related. So everybody showed up, and it was cars clear up on the pit side. Which, let's see, we ever go to an event there?
No.
Okay, it must have been because Jeff's been with me, Derek's been. Thought maybe we did. Well, anyway, so the pit area, of course, it's longer.
We've always just drove by it.
Okay, it's long. I mean, the pit area is actually longer than the quarter mile, but think at least a quarter mile for the pavement and stuff. And that's where the show part is. And I don't know if in years past they've actually completely filled the whole pit area, but this year they did. Now, I don't know how many exact cars. They always get well over 1,500, if not close to 2,000. I saw, as far as entry numbers, I was number 984. I got there pretty early, so there was almost already 1,000 cars in by the time I got my number.
Yeah.
When I got there, participant gates opened at 7. I got there at like 6:45, and there was already 10 lines deep. But the highest card I saw was something like 18 in the 1800s, and I'm sure there was more than that. So I mean, there was probably over 2,000. Could be been close to 2,500 to 3,000 cars. There a strip there left?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you gonna be able to hold it?
No, because
then
I think there's where there's actually I need to unload anyways.
I was gonna say
there's
you unload, I'll do the strip. But and then crowds. I guess there's more than just.
Yeah, if you go down and come back.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm gonna. But crowds, and the place I forget holds. In the stands, it holds 15,000 people, something like that. But most people are walking around. I would guesstimate at least somewhere between 20 and 30,000 people probably moved through there throughout the whole day, if I had to guess, because it was hard to and it's a big, think like a huge, like Walmart parking lot wide up there for the pit area, and then a quarter mile long, and it was hard to just walk back and forth. There was just so many.
Yeah.
Of course, again, cars are coming and going because they're doing grudge races and things too. But it was something to behold. And of course, I had prime real estate, but that's because I hooked up with, I'd say a casual acquaintance owns they do restorations, service, and stuff, more geared towards more vintage motorcycles, clear out in Aurora, so a ways away. But I met that guy, and I've kind of I chat back and forth Instagram. I DM'd him the night before saying, hey, can I have a little bit of real estate? I'm usually the oldest bikes there, mine would fit in with your stuff. And he's like, sure. And so I was right there and he's part of the midway with all the other sponsor stuff and giveaway. And because he was, had restored the giveaway bike, he was right next to the KBPI tent where everybody has to go to either if they're going to t-shirt or sign up or anything. So I had maximum exposure, I guess you could say. say. And then of course, now Willie's wandering out all everywhere, but I mean that's his
Yeah.
home base, and of course because the bike there, so
Well, and he's probably pretty much the head organizer too.
yeah,
So he's
pretty much. And of course everybody's trying to. I mean, people aren't like mobbing him, but I mean, there's tons of people wanting the selfies. I didn't bother him for that kind of stuff. I suppose I should, other than walk by Tucker's. Tucker's like, I hear you on the radio. You know. Well, and the thing is that Friday I took the day off and we went up camping, and of course we were listening to KBPI on the drive, well, as far as we could, getting into the mountains up there.
Yeah.
So he, you know, and so he kind of got a fist bump and a little handshake and whatnot. So should have stopped him for a picture, but it's just like, you know, he's got to be at certain places around the track, and of course he's kind of when he's near the track, he's kind of calling the race a little bit, you know. I mean,
yeah.
So I just, you know, I didn't want to. I mean, there was enough people bothering him for that kind of stuff. I just didn't want to be one of those kind of fans. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's kind of the, I don't want to say starstruck, but more the just who am I kind of thing, you know. But it's mostly because it's like, well, to a very much lesser extent, I kind of know what it's like when you're just trying to do something and somebody's like, hey, you're the junk man, you know. Doesn't happen very much, but in certain circles people have recognized me, you know, in very limited circles, let's put it that way.
That field on your left is where I started.
Okay. But anyway, but as far as the car, and you know, I didn't take hardly any pictures. I never do because I'm too busy just looking and then chatting with people, other people like-minded. But it's pretty diverse, but it is more, shall we say, like street machine customs, and then, you know, modern muscle. Of course, there's a lot of tuner and that kind of stuff. I guess, and then there's a little bit of sort of roadkill-esque type stuff. You know, you know, there's not a lot. There's almost never any unique like antiques or trying to say, like, you won't see like a 36 Chevy or something like that, or like a 48 Ford sedan or whatever, or you won't see a Packard, you won't see you won't see any of that kind of stuff. Nothing that's too rare, or you won't see things like Jay Leno's, that's like in Jay Leno's collection, other than classic muscle. But
yeah,
but it's good. I mean, like I said, I gravitate to more of the factory original stuff, and there's plenty of that. But honestly, one thing I didn't see a lot of was your I forget which generation, but your 80s era Camaros, or even
it's a Gen 3.
Yeah, Gen 3 Camaros and Firebirds. I saw one Firebird, but I didn't even see any like first gen stuff. I mean, there was one or two, but they were like more like Pro Street type cars, which was a little odd. A lot of modern stuff. I mean, and that's to be expected. The crowd is a lot is younger. I mean, me and you and our age, we would be, I mean, yeah, there's the older folk, but we would been kind of more on the minority end of it, actually, I would say. There's a lot of like, well, more modern muscle, obviously, that was even, and Corvettes and things like that. It seemed like there was a lot of I forget which model, but like the SRT Jeep Cherokees, with the Hemi in them,
Yeah.
kind of sleeper types. Let's see, but very different from. Of course, I haven't been to cruise night in ages, but probably very different. Less boomers, I guess. Less boomer stuff. Less the typical car show cars you would see back there, I guess.
Well, and that's something that I've always kind of wondered because part of the reason I don't go to car shows here is because it's the same cars over and over. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what town you go to or anything. It's the same cars.
Well,
And you eventually get to a point where you're just like, okay, I've seen that car
well,
like 20 times now.
exactly. Well, you remember going to a few shows when I was doing it back there in high school, and of course, he's dead or he's in the nursing home, but Larry Tams and his Chevelle,
Yeah.
was it I mean, of course he was local to us, but it's like he went to every one of them, so you knew you were. So there was always those cars there. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Where that's the thing. If they get back doing it, and I didn't even think about it until it was really too late to mention it to you, but we could have.
Well, no, because last weekend was my mom's appointment.
Well, that's what
that's
what I mean. It just the timing didn't work out.
No.
Either, but it's kind of like just so you could have saw what it is, because it's very very different just atmosphere. Of course, the cars. It's a rough crowd, I guess, or a rougher crowd. I mean, think of KBPI, people that go to KBPI sponsored concerts. I guess that's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not like when you go to a car show back there, it's wingadingas, Hawaiian shirts, and khaki shorts, guys with their guts hanging out, you know what I mean? This is metalheads. I guess that's for the most part.
Yeah.
And which is unique in itself. And a little more family oriented, I'd argue. And when I say family oriented, the whole family is engaged in it, the wife, the kids, all that. It'd be like our group kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are car clubs that go. Another part of it as well. But they're well, anyway, just to kind of play on. It's unknown where Bandamere will exactly end up and all that, but Willie did announce so wherever they go, they're going to follow them. So it's not the car show itself is not going to die, but it'll go wherever Bandamere ends up. And I was talking to a few folks there that might be a little bit more in the know. It'll probably be out east, kind of towards the airport. And honestly, I heard something interesting and makes a lot of sense. They've actually been probably looking for a buyer because they can't expand. They would like to, have a road course or something. So they can have that kind of racing along with drag racing. And then, they did have a go-kart track down there and stuff. But
yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yeah, so they could have more stuff. They could have more diverse events, I guess. Autocross and things like that. So, makes a lot of sense. Kind of, it's just sad, just because I've been there for 65 years. I've raced there. It's just always been there, and it's picture, and it's and of course the Mile High Nationals, which is one of the a couple of televised races that are there. They won't get the stunning shots that they do. I mean, that was always the thing when you were watching on ESPN back in the day. you knew they were at Denver, and you knew they were Mile High, because the mountains. But they'll probably
Yeah.
just have to do shots like they do for Bronco games. They fly it around and mountains.
Yeah.
Won't be as convenient. It's so nice. It's like it's 5-minute drive from the house. So, but not that we went to a lot of events there, but things like that. It'll be good for them.
Speaking of autocross, that's something I thought about with the Camaro that I maybe would be interested in is trying autocross.
I'm sure
if
there's
they do something like that, and I get that thing built, then I might be willing to come out and give it a try. That'd be I think it'd be kind of
well,
fun.
I don't know that they're going to build an autocross, but that's just rumor, But
yeah,
it makes a lot of sense that they would want to have that, because there are some other tracks around, but they're like I said, there's a dirt and paved oval up north, but it's a small, it's not a like a NASCAR worthy, or not even NASCAR, but one of the lower series. It's not even that level of racetrack, whatever you want to call it, SCCA or whatever.
Yeah.
Like if they build that, they could have like SCCA or something type races, assuming. So we'll see. It's all out there, but I almost was just not going to show, just because it's a long day. It's kind of a hassle. It's $35. It's not like it's cheap for the hassle. It's one thing, a $10 entry fee, and you have to, but no, $35. And you sit there in the parking lot waiting to get in for an hour, well, hour and a half for me, but maybe 2 hours or more for others. And then you gotta haul your stuff, you gotta up and take it down, and then you gotta wait to get out, and kind of a production. It's not convenient, I guess. I'm glad I did for the last one, got the pictures I got, and have that memory of that. As far as as far as cars that were notable, I don't know. I didn't really see anything that just really jumped out at me. Usually there's some more kind of exhibition type cars, just things weird for the sake of weird or something. I mean, there was a few kind of sleeper types, but can't really think of anything that really stood out. Other than, though, during the Burnout contest, it was now it wasn't the latest Corvette because it wasn't the rear engine, so it was the last of the rear wheel drive, or the front engine rear drive, whatever. 2019 maybe, whatever. Anyway, he was part of the Burnout deal, and he had the tires that do different colored smoke, got compounds in there, and it's kind of surprised the crowd. Well, he got going, and then all of a sudden it just quit, or well, it stopped making smoke, and and then it wouldn't move, and then they pushed it away and blew up the rear end. I mean, me and Tucker were standing down there on the edge right near, and it's like you could see parts laying on the ground. And then another guy that had just built, I forget what it was. Might have been a 67 Firebird. That might have been but built, blower, all that jazz. He put a rod through the oil pan. Doing that. Otherwise, that was the main carnage. Normally, there's more stuff. I mean, there was a lot of hopped up diesel pickups, pretty quick, which those are, I guess, are kind of fun to watch because you don't expect them to go as fast as they go, quarter mile. But there were that kind of much. Yeah, just the crowd overall is definitely somewhere between the 18 to 35 mostly. Like I said, we would
Yeah.
be um we would be the on the smaller demographic on the beginning of the, I would say the beginning of the demographic.
Yeah.
But it, best I can tell, it appears I was kind of worried that the hobby might, it won't die out, but dwindle a little, just because with kind of the new things, the way new cars are built, and well, less choice in new cars and all that.
Yeah.
Young kids have a lot of other things, can get into, like, oh, 3D printing and other computery stuff, pretty, that I think is cool too. Um, I was thinking, but no, it seems like it's pretty well, the torches are being passed. But I will say, the days of seeing like Superbirds and Daytonas and all those kind of cars, and the real the stuff that is real expensive, are gone.
Yeah.
There wasn't even that many, 69, 68, 69, 70, and 70 Chargers, other than what Willie brought of his stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the classic muscle, just because we're priced out of that and have
Yeah.
been for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think that's
I don't think I was ever priced into that.
well, no, but you could, like, for example, Lonnie's Charger. I forget exactly. I mean, that was a runner, but
Yeah.
it wasn't outrageously, what he had to pay for that wasn't outrageous. It was,
No.
and a non-running, kind of junker. You like $1,000 in our day. You could, if you ran across them stuff. I remember seeing a few, and that were rough, not running, but they were not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now it's like $5,000 for a shell.
Mm-hmm.
Put it this way: if your car, the condition it's in, runner kind of driver, but rough, that'd be like going close to $10,000. If it was a
Yeah.
69, 68, 69, 70.
Yeah.
Type of deal. I think so. I think art, like, and I'm just not really into those. I mean, it's fun to see them, and there was stuff like that, but it's like, I think our cars, and that's bearing out the market, is things like Toyota Supras, the first gens, like the first gen, like Acura Integras or something, and then well, some of the K cars, so like the the K car Dodge Charger and that kind of stuff, the front wheel drive stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course the Nissan 200 SXs, of course 300Zs have always been pretty collectible, but they're getting up there. I mean, Fieros are even going on that list. I mean, they're not outrageous yet, but they're getting there. They're starting to become it. Even things like what was it, a Somerset or Sunbird, or whatever you had.
I had a Somerset.
See, even cars like that are now, I think, are what, say another 20 years, that's what we're going to be seeing, as like, say, like either survivors or people kind of fixing those up or customizing those. Even maybe like, really slow Cavaliers and stuff might be, with hopped up quad fours or something. It might be a thing that, I mean, I'm speculating here.
Yeah.
just some of that 80s and 90s cars that were just common everyday cars are going to be, I think, the next thing that people are going to get into because they can afford them.
Yeah.
Pickups are always going to be a thing. And that kind of stuff. It was just interesting. It's kind of a pulse. That's the thing. The KBPI is kind of a pulse on what kind of the future generation might be looking at. Because again, there was at least 2 rows of how they lined them up of WRXs, and I'm talking like the bug eye WRXs, Subarus, and then even Legacies, and then Bajas stuff, but modified and customized and stuff. Not a lot of Fast and the Furious stuff, to be honest. I mean, there was some of that kind of stuff, but oh gosh, this gal, and I should have taken a picture of it, but had a, and I forget the exact year, but and you'd know it, but it was mid-80s BMW, get the model. But anyway, she had a collection of boomboxes or ghetto blasters, but the ones that are collectible, so Sony's and Kenwoods and Hitachi or whatever, the typical, and kind of had a setup like that. So I think that kind of thing is going to be the new. That's going to be the new, like, 57 Chevy, and the playing the Beach Boys. Rather than playing Beach Boys, they're going to be playing Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, I wish you could have come just being the last one, but there will be other. They're going to keep it going, so there'll be other times. And I don't know why I hadn't thought of mentioning it, thinking, oh, you ought to do that, come out and, in years past. It's just never, just figured, it is a long haul to get here.
Yeah.
And stuff, there is that, logistical problem, but once in a while, I just never thought of thinking about it, However, coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend, I'm I just kind of sort of made up my mind that I am going to work it out and make it. But I got invited to, apparently it's been going on for 20 years. I'd never heard of it before, but I kind of out of the blue, one of these guys that's kind of in this vintage motorcycle club that knows me and has seen my stuff in person and whatnot, well, invited me along with some other people because they were looking to get 100 bikes to show up to this. It's called the Morgan Adams Concourse DLL Gone, and it's a charity event. And I was like, never heard of it. But it's at Centennial Airport. It's at an airport. I was like, oh, okay. So, and well, when I went to look it up, it's like, this is like one of those fundraisers where it's $250 if you're gonna go, it's $250 a plate or $2,500 a table to get in, and it's all kinds of aircraft, but a lot of vintage aircraft, and like $1 million cars. So we're talking like Ferraris and Bentleys and like Jay Leno garage kind of cars.
Yeah.
And then motorcycles. Basically he's like, I showed your bikes and told them who you were, and like, oh, those sound like we need those would fit in with ours. And so anyway, I'm gonna go to that. Apparently there's 2 air shows that I get to watch. Catered meal with a bunch of hoity-toity and like wine tasting, and there's a dress code too. No jeans, khakis and least like either a polo or a good button-up shirt, and preferably a blazer. So, and I was kind of looking at pictures and I'm like, ooh, this is the rich, this is the Cherry Creek, this is the rich folk. It's like, but I'm gonna do it. So I guess see how the other half lives. But I've never been to an event like this. I mean, the International Motorcycle Show was one thing, but that's more like an expo or whatever. But this is a like cheese and wine kind of fair, hors d'oeuvres and tapas and it's and here's the thing, it's at night. It's from 6 to 10 at night, but I gotta haul my bikes in between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. I'll be there all day, but I'm really looking forward to it because that's a kind of event I've never experienced at all.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not just like, not everybody can just show up. Yeah, it's invited, and because I'm invited, I get in, and I'm an exhibitor. I get in free, so I guess I'm gonna get a $250 meal out of the deal.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll see what that's like. And anyway, I mean, it's for cancer research, and they have like like a verbal and a silent auction on some stuff. I'll probably donate something somehow. I haven't decided much or what, or maybe I will. I figure my limit would probably be about $100, so I don't know if anything would go that cheap at an event like this, but bid on something. But I'm sure I could cash or card donate.
Yeah.
But anyway, they do it every year, and getting invited this year, maybe I'll get invited next year. Because of the kind of logistics, I really wanted Katie to be able to go. With kids and everything, we couldn't find a sitter, and basically I won't be back. I probably won't be back till like midnight, and
Yeah.
so it'll just around. The one thing is though is there's a couple of guys bringing bikes that I do know, and I've met before and they know me. Not like I won't know anybody there.
Yeah.
But a lot of them I know, at least in the motorcycle, have probably seen my setup at other shows over the years, and of course the website and forums and stuff. In this realm with especially like vintage Kawasaki's, I'm a known entity, I guess. Which is weird to think. Cut that off square. But I'm going to try and make a video. I might try to even live stream from it. I'll be doing it from my phone.
Yeah.
How good the quality will be over the cell service. Definitely going to try to make some shorts and at least somewhat of a...
If you're full, you may have to just use my my combine.
Okay.
Because I took the
I'm
green cart to fill
getting
the
there.
truck.
I'm at 95. That's... Well, should I cut off this? Let's say, are you emptying the truck and all?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll
You can put it in mine.
Well, yeah, let me see. Because you know what, I'll be filled by the time I'll be full again by the time I get to.
Yeah, and I'll go back. I don't know if I'll completely fill the truck again, but I'll try it and see how much of the grain cart I can get emptied.
I mean, I'm watching. I see. I might do, but well, I guess I could field in half and some up and back dump.
We could, but then I don't know if I'd lose.
Well, you'd still lose.
Um,
We'd still lose time unless we moved our. It doesn't.
no, what I'm talking about is I don't know if I'd lose the access to. Well, if I need to fix the field, what would happen is it would fix the field, but it would put like say I need to make the field ready to harvest. It would just put it right over top the road,
Oh, okay.
so to speak. So because it doesn't know that you created a field
Well, I wasn't
or
creating a
created
field. I
a
was just gonna
roadway.
cut what, like, because that's sometimes what real life what we would do when
Split a
when it's making so good can't go down and back, cut it up and just go down and back in the short pass, so um so you're not driving so far from the truck with the grain cart, or if just leaving the grain cart at one end like what we're doing, and then move everything towards the middle of the field, back and forth. Or
oh
well, in real life we'd still leave the truck still down at the end, but then the grain cart just has to make that distance, rather than the grain cart
well, and
always having to chase the
it
combine.
would also have helped if because I'm leaving the grain cart. Leaving the grain cart parked, and if I would just actually,
Well, or if I see.
if I actually trailed everything.
Well, that's the thing. I guess if you put it halfway there, that's another strategy. Put the truck at one end, just even if you're not full, dump, and then go back around, dump on either end. That's another thing we've done on some of our larger fields in real life. Put the grain cart on one end, truck on the other end, combine just dumps whatever it has on either end. Take the 45 seconds or whatever it takes to unload the little bit, and keep moving.
Yeah,
That's when it was just like me and my dad, and like two of us, and I couldn't get back in the truck time before the grain cart would be full again, so we just filled things up and then took trucks in. Kind of like that day you were there, just fill it,
yeah,
stop, and of course when I had my mom and Jody and everything, then we could keep trucks shuttled all around, and the combine didn't ever happen. Well, mostly because the elevator would get backed up is why I couldn't get back fast. That waiting at the scale first.
See, we never had that problem.
You'd wait to weigh on. You'd have to usually wait to dump, and then you'd have to wait to weigh off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I waited with the grain truck, but my dad would just keep combining and fill the grain cart. By the time I came back, the grain cart would be full and ready to dump into the truck.
But how many miles did you have to go to? Because were you just hauling to Stanford? Or?
I think our furthest field was like 7 miles away, maybe
Okay,
5 miles away.
That's still ways, because but see, that's the thing. Most of ours were none of them were close except for the one over by Rip City. That was 2 mile away.
Oh.
Dump it city, but everything else was at least at the minimum 5 miles, and then 5 miles and then plus. And of course, those were in the earlier days where the pits were smaller too. They hadn't upgraded the pits, so and semis were just becoming a thing.
Yeah.
And so it would take so long. I mean, just like, we had, other than the custom cutters, we had one of the first, semis and then almost and like 800 bushel trucks, and the pit, could only handle like 150 or 200 bushel. So I mean, it could take, I don't know, 10 minutes sometimes to unload our truck, once you got there. And so that backed up all these little trucks. See, it used to be, the little trucks, 300 bushel, 150 bushel pit, 2 minutes, you're done. About 2 minutes and you're done.
Yeah. You're not over far enough.
Okay, there we go. Looked like it. But yeah, it was like, 2-3 minutes on those little 300 bushel. Well, and most people's were less than 3. So it wasn't a big thing. And then, of course, then the semi, ever, because all that.
Yeah.
Of course, when they're dumping on the ground, the auger, even those high capacity belt augers, belt conveyors, they still seem to take a long time with semis, but at least they're kind of set up for it. But again, that was in the old days when you had to back up to an auger, and it's like maybe an 8-inch auger, and that would just, even with the little trucks, that took a while.
Yeah.
Just having 5 or more miles to go minimum, get back to the field, it just, the combine would be full and everything would be. Of course, now our stuff is, everybody has that size stuff, and our stuff is smaller now than things have gotten bigger. I mean, the trucks are the same. They can't get any bigger.
Yeah.
But I think our combine is 280 bushel or something, and now most combines are well over 300.
Mm-hmm.
Why you need, optimally, you need at least 2 semis and 2 drivers to just keep them going.
Yeah.
Or 2 semis and you fill them and you go up and stop and you go. That's pretty much what folks do. Get it done.
Oh, so I had an interesting. It's not as probably as interesting as KB. So we went to the Cheesecake Factory last weekend
Where at?
in Omaha.
Omaha.
And we were there before my mom's appointment, and I actually had been there early enough that it was like, okay, well, I'm gonna, because part of going there is that they have cheesecake, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna sit here and have a cheesecake, since we're here. Well, they Brooke said this is kind of was part of it too, but the waitress was like, I don't know, from the very beginning was kind of annoyed with something. Wasn't us or anything, but she kind of made not like off-putting comments about another table or about something towards us, like she was unhappy about something. I didn't quite follow, didn't quite hear. Anyways, so we order our food, and we were just sitting there talking, and all of a sudden, the waitress comes up and says, "I am so sorry. Your food will be out any moment." I'm like, I didn't think it was that long, but okay, you know. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
you're fine. Well, she comes back a little bit later, and she's like, it'll be here any moment, any moment. I'm so sorry. And I was like, no, you're fine.
Yeah, you were not in a
Not
hurry. I mean, I'm
we're not in
usually
a
not in a
hurry,
hurry.
and we're not upset or anything, you
Well, that's
know.
the
And
thing. Well, I'll let you finish, but it's like, yeah, I like the Cheesecake Factory, but when I go there, I'm not in a rush. I kind of like, for that kind of restaurant, I kind of like the atmosphere, or at least the one that's near our house here. But anyway, go ahead.
yeah, and and so then she brought Brooks and Mom's food out, and she didn't have mine. And she's like, I'm so sorry. She goes, what you ordered, which I ordered these, they're like a chicken and buffalo sauce that are breaded. So it's kind of like a Hot Pocket.
Yeah, I think I know what
Um,
you're talking about. I usually get their oh, now forgetting it. Oh, the Bang Bang shrimp, or it's like an Asian dish. But anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. Well, we were doing appetizers because I wanted to save room for the cheesecake.
Right.
And um and she's like, "Well, we had to make it from scratch, so I'm so sorry." And I'm like, "No, you're fine." And then she comes back about 5 minutes later, and she goes, "Well, I just chewed out both of my managers for you." And like, oh, okay. And the next thing we know, I had one lady come up that hadn't been, and I'm assuming she was a manager. She comes up and she apologizes for everything, um and then she leaves. And then about 2 minutes later, we had another gal come up who was evidently another manager and apologizes for everything. And then she leaves. And then a little bit later, the waitress comes back up and she's like, well, the kitchen manager is making it herself now. So and she's like, so sorry, it's all from scratch. And I was like, we had to make these from scratch and everything. It's like I'm still at the point where I'm just like, I'm fine. Okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I
It's
mean,
not.
yeah, you're not in a rush, so you don't have anywhere to be.
And so then I finally get my food and I eat it. It was good and everything. And then I order my cheesecake and everything and eat that. And she comes up with the bill and she goes, "Well, I am so sorry." She goes, "Well, we're not charging you for your meal." And and gives us the bill. I was like, well,
Okay.
okay. I ain't gonna argue with you. I had no problem with it, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, but that's good service, I guess, because they're holding themselves to a high standard, even if we're fine with it. Because see, in that situation, the way you describe it, I would have been fine too. Because I usually tell them like, hey, I'm not in a hurry here, so
yeah,
I, about the only time I'll complain. It happened a little more recently than ever, and I just think that's kind of the state of the workforce deal. But COVID and stuff. But I'll only really kind of complain if it's, the foods comes cold, and if it took a long time like this, but then it was cold, and no, and nothing was said,
Yeah.
like she was going overboard with the apology, but as long as if they say one time, say, hey, we had this problem or something, it's going to take extra. I'm, fine. But even if it took extra time and they didn't say anything, but it was the meal I was expecting, hot and taste and whatever, and not a disgruntled waitress, I wouldn't complain either, even if it took a little extra time. About the only time I complain is if it's cold, and if the wait staff just grumpy for no reason. And that, again, I only say it's happened recently just because there was a couple of times, like not successive times, but where we went out somewhere where I think we were on the road too, so it wasn't even locally or anything there, and somebody, and somebody's having a bad day, and I kind of complained, but more like just said, like, hey, I felt I could have got better service here.
Yeah. The only time I was ever really got upset about stuff was this was before COVID. I went to Applebee's in Kearney, and we ordered. There wasn't very many people there. We ordered our food, and I don't know, we waited 20 minutes or something like that. And then they finally come out, and they're like, "Well, apologize, but it's like what you ordered we can't make." And I was like, you waited 20 minutes to tell me that?
See, I think that was a similar situation where I complained most recently. And when I say recently, this might have been 6 months ago, but
well,
again,
it got worse because I ordered something else, and then they come back 5 minutes later and say, "Well, we don't have that either." And I'm like, "Well,
what do you have?
What do you have?"
Now, it'd be easy to say, well, that's what you get for going to Applebee's, because Applebee's has gone downhill, but so I've heard. I haven't eaten one in so long, but it was going downhill the last time I ate
it. It's kind of like what you were talking about with the staff. This was before COVID, but they were having from what I understood, they were having a problem with the management, and then the management was carrying down into the staff.
Yeah.
And then I think finally found something they did have. Well, because that was when I was taking my mom out. Well, instead of just giving my mom her food, they let her sit out and get cold while they were waiting to make mine. And it's like, I was like, I was so upset. I'm like, we're never eating here again. Yeah. And we didn't for a long, long time, until someone finally told me that manager and the wait staff had been,
and that's the thing,
had changed.
There's a few places that I just won't step foot in, and I'll even say one of them is and this goes back probably 2024. Last time I ate at one was the 2000s. I think it was before me and Katie were married. But a Lone Star Steakhouse, and partly because, well, maybe we were married because out here. But anyway, met Katie's grandparents. They always come out to the stock show, and they always stay up. She's got family up Thornton, okay, so she stays up there. They stay up there, and with them, and course, this is before kids, but we go up there and meet them for dinner, and of course, being cattle people, Lone Star or Texas Roadhouse. There wasn't a Texas Roadhouse up there, but that kind of restaurant, that's where they were going to eat. And went there, first year, went there and ordered a French dip sandwich. It was gristly as all get out and everything. I mean, it was, I don't want to say it was inedible, but it was not good. But I ate it because we're there. I was there to see them. Good conversation. All
Yeah.
that. And I'm like, all right, I never eat at this. That might have been my first time eating it anyway. So I always chalk it up to I just luck of the draw kind of deal. Well, next year rolls. Go up there, eat again. I order the same thing. Same experience, gristly and all that. So, next year, I told them, let's go somewhere else, and then just in general, I have never eaten at a Lone Star Steakhouse ever again because, okay, a year apart, and I get the same quality of food. Now the service was fine, but the quality of the food was terrible. This was where the food was the problem. And I guess I wanted to sort of clarify on the employment stuff. I just have, or the staffing, as I just have noticed, it's harder and harder to find. There is good, and that's why I say it really stands out. And I usually I go out of my way to praise them when they do something that well, because it is now, I guess I'd say, kind of a rarity that you get, what would have been considered just normal expected service now.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's good people out there. It's just, it seems like it's getting more few and far between. And again, I don't eat fast food hardly at all, so that's only when we're traveling. But I'll tell you that the fast food joints have gotten, and it's not any one. I mean, I really hate McDonald's these days, but that's partly because they're basically forcing you to use those kiosk deals, and I hate the experience. It's so impersonal. I want to give my order to the checker,
we were having a discussion about that too, because we stopped at one in York on the way home.
Well, the thing
Saturday.
is, I think that's what I'm probably the exception. I want to give someone my order. I want them to take it and feel like there's, even if it's some pimply old kid standing across from me, I want them to feel like, that somebody's listening, and if I'm going to spend money here, that they're giving me some sort of service. And again, that's the thing. I use the pimply teenage kid, but I've gotten excellent service out of pimply teenage kids at like sit down restaurants, and then I get terrible service from like any old fast food from middle-aged whatever people,
Yeah.
and that's,
well, kind of
like I said, McDonald's aside, but even and like I was at a Runza, and it wasn't bad, but it just was like, I felt like I was bothering them by walking up to the counter and placing an order.
Well, we were.
I mean, they didn't have that. It just felt like, oh great, another customer kind of attitude. And I've had that on multiple occasions. So that's why I'm saying it wasn't just somebody's having a bad day. They weren't rude or anything, but they just weren't like, hey, can I take your order? Or just they don't even have to be bubbly. Just kind of, yeah, are you ready yet? You ready, sir? Kind of that. There wasn't even that,
Well, and we were having a discussion because, so 2 weeks in a row, the first week I went to the concert, and we went to a McDonald's in Council Bluffs, and the next that morning before we came back, and went up to the front desk. We saw the kiosks there, but we went up to the front cashier. Well, there was actually someone waiting there, and he took our order, and we ordered and went and sat down with our number, and they brought it to us, and no problems. Well,
Yep.
we stopped on our way back from Omaha last weekend, and we walked in, and there was literally no one up there, and it took several minutes, and it looked like they were like talking to each other, like, are you gonna take them, or like,
Yeah.
finally.
That's the attitude I'm talking about, that I've seemed to notice more and more at just varying restaurants. It's not any one place. It's all over.
Yeah, I said something to Brooke on the way out, and she goes, "Well, it's because they're just used to people. They're trying to push you more and more to go to the kiosks." And I said, "Well, I understand. Normally, I have an app, but I said we're on the interstate. We're from out of town, and and I was driving, so it's not like I could jump on my app to order what we
Order
wanted,
ahead of time. Well, and see, I won't do that, just more out of principle and stuff. But I don't care. I don't care. I mean, it's not like, oh, but again,
I do because I did because it's like, usually when I do that, I'm like 5-10 minutes away, or 15
Yeah.
at the most, and I'm like, okay, well, by the time I get there, then my food will be ready,
Right. And no,
and
get
then
it.
on top of that, it's like, if you try to do drive-through, it seems like you're taking a risk on if they hear you correctly or
Well,
not.
I have, even long before the internet and that kind of stuff, I never, always had anxiety at the drive-through. And it's not anxiety about talking to somebody. It's anxiety of, am I going to get what I'm ordered? And
Yeah.
and I've had too many bad experiences, so I avoid drive-through if at all possible. When I have to, Katie's got to do it, and then we don't leave that window till everything's checked out too, because I've just had too many.
I've only had a couple, but I've noticed,
I guess,
especially in the last several years, where they have had a hard time hearing me.
Yeah. Well,
and I keep having to repeat myself to the point where I'm like yelling at
hell, I can't hear that. I can't understand. It's not that I can't hear them. I can't understand them because of the audio. I mean, it's better now they got those screens, but it's like, I hate drive-throughs with a passion. Just always kind of have.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I mean, I do it when I have to, kind of thing, but I don't like eating in the car. I don't like fast food in general, but again, you eat it when you have to. I don't, and that's the thing. Katie says I'm weird, but I don't really crave any fast food. I can crave some sort of sit down restaurant, a certain dish or whatever, but not fast food. The exception might be Runza, but I don't know. Katie makes them so good at home, and we have them frozen. I can have those whenever I want. So
yeah.
But so that's why the drive-through really isn't a selling feature or appeal to me, because I don't really like eating in the car. But again, sometimes you just have to, and I'll do it, but just and then the thing is well, quality has definitely gotten better in fast food. I mean, people say, "Oh, I miss the old McDonald's, or I miss the old Wendy's," or that. I don't remember it ever being. I mean, yes, it's still slapped together, but what do you expect? It can't look like the picture every time. But I will say the quality of the has gone up,
Oh,
the
I don't think so. I think
well,
McDonald's is still
I
crap.
just well, maybe I'm mistaking variety with quality, but it's but here's the thing, it's still one note or one taste, and I guess maybe I've gotten snobby, but I I that's the thing, when I travel or even around town here, um about the only time we fast food anything is we're gonna treat the kids to some chicken nuggets or something because they like of the few things they eat right now. That's kind
Yeah.
of a treat, but other than that, I would rather, kids and all, I'd drag them to a sit down. We'll go to a more local-ish restaurant. I mean, we go to the chains, and I have the certain ones like Cheesecake Factory, like going there. But got all these other choices, so we'll go to you know a different type of restaurant that you just don't have everywhere,
Yeah.
like Mediterranean, or again, we're high on a Thai kick, but we make that at home now, just about as good as the, the, the restaurant we order from or would go to. The only other one is as pho, or you probably know it's pho, because we've made that at home, but it takes a long time to make the broth and all that stuff. So it in, but again, that's more of a treat.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the reason why I generally just like, what, if we're gonna spend money on eating something out, let's go to a sit down and get served and all that, and again, cheesecake, chilies, whatever, those can be just fine, but I've almost always gotten, well, I always get better service. Even some of the worst service, like kind of where they're just going through the motions, is better than fast food service. So I guess, other than when the handful of times, I've gotten cold food or something,
Yeah.
just seems that's another reason I mean, fast food's not good for you, but I don't eat it all the
No.
time, so I'm not too worried about it. Like some people, I think, we're the exceptions, but some people, I think, eat that stuff once or twice a week, if not more. And I just, there's the how do they afford it kind of thing. B, it's just not that good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a runzaholic, but I'd only eat that if one was near me. I'd still maybe only pick that up once every couple of months.
Yeah.
That'd be one I would go out of my way for. But it would still be every couple of months, so only a couple times a year would I actually eat it. Yeah, and that's the thing. Whenever we go out of town or something, we usually find a restaurant we don't have, whether it be chain or otherwise. Go there.
That's what I try to do.
Yeah. Like, we go to Cheyenne a lot, and a lot of time, and granted, last couple of times we've gone to Culver's, but that's because we don't have one. Well, we do now. It just opened up, but we didn't have one. So again, that's like once a year we eat Culver's, and so the kids can get ice cream. And I like their chicken strip, kind of like Run does. But or we do like Texas Roadhouse or something. Well, we have one here. We don't go to it.
I've only eaten that one once.
It's a it's a Chili's. I don't ever get a steak because it's never, well, they're not bad, but they're not we have good steak in the freezer.
Yeah.
It'll never be as good as that steak, and especially seasoned the way Katie cooks it. So, you know, I don't order, I never order steak out at a restaurant. I just know I'll be disappointed. So I get, you know, more unique dish if I can.
Yeah.
They have you know, things like a Reuben or like I said, French dip or fish and chips, even, because I just don't have that stuff at home. If it's a more American style restaurant. I don't even do Mexican too often because we've gotten kind of picky about our Mexican too. Basically, I look on the menu, and if they don't have the soups, then we don't eat there, because I know it's not gonna have the right taste. Yeah, other than that, I try something. Yeah, try something. And like cheesecake's one of those. I mean, granted, we got one down close by here, but gosh, we actually haven't eaten in a long time. But I guess that's because usually we're gonna eat out something. We usually choose something like Mediterranean, kind of Asian, not not like mall China, not like Panda Express Asian, Vietnamese or something like that, or like I said, we do our Mexican or local type.
Yeah. That's another one I haven't really. I've only eaten once at, was the Panda Express.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, people go gaga over it.
Yep.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's mall Chinese, and sometimes that's what you want, you know. But it's you know, it's fine. But again, that's not one I'd ever crave, you know.
Yeah.
It's too simple of, well, I guess listen to me. It's too simple of flavors, I was gonna say. But I guess I've gotten learning, because again, like, heck, I've even developed a taste for some of these, like, I don't know if they're around your area, but it's a chain called, well, there's one called Mad Greens. So it's more like I would say it's like a build your own salad, but it's more than just salad. You have hummus, you have quinoa, you have different proteins, so you can have different tuna or chicken or can kind of a bowl. Then there's poke, which is Hawaiian thing.
Mm-hmm.
Other one, it's even more, but it's, you know, it's more, how do I say it, hipster, trendy, I guess. But that's the thing, my coworkers are like that, so that's where they want to go, and I like it. It's just because I wouldn't seek those restaurants out on my own. So
Yeah.
but they're good. You know, they're good. They're a perfect lunch kind of thing, and they're and really they're I arguably they're a I consider them a good value compared to, you're just gonna go get fast food, you know, Wendy's, McDonald's, for the price. I mean, it's I mean, you're gonna spend a couple dollars more for it, but that's the thing. It's only a couple dollars more, and it's just better food. Not to mention better for you, but it's just better experience.
Yeah.
And you don't feel hungry after, you know, an hour afterward. I don't want to say it's like the best thing on earth and everybody should be eating it. It's just for only a few dollars more, you get something that feels like personalized to you, or that you customize. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd like it because again, I mean, maybe you would. But it's more like again, like greens and different kind of, I would call them sauces or dressings, that kind of thing. And then it's usually served with like a side of hummus or something.
Oh. I've never really tried hummus.
Well,
I've never really had hummus
because
before.
I can't have sour cream, it's my chip dips now. So, and again, comes different flavors and stuff. Well, there's no bad hummus. It's just there's some that are better than others as far as uh flavor. Some can be a little bland. It's just, you'd probably like it. It's good for dipping, you know, like raw vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, baby carrots, if you want a snack like that. But then like chips and um works as an alternative if you don't have salsa or something or actually I'm surprised a few of those type of places haven't maybe at least one pop up in Kearney just to feed the uh college crowd, honestly. Because it's kind of trendy, but it is also it's a good kind of grab and go kind of thing too. I guess we could talk a little bit about, because it did pop in my mind, sort of the Halloween that. I don't have any ideas, but
Yeah, I don't either yet.
because we could either do it where you're farming, I do my Atari like I've done before.
Yeah, we did that 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Or we could both farm and somehow, I don't know, is there, well, I know there is, but like how would you incorporate it, like sort of Halloween decorations on like the fields or something, or I don't know, probably can't harvest.
There's that, and then like depending on the map, if you go into the night, I think No Man's Land does it, and there's some other maps that like has Bigfoot howling in the middle of the night.
Oh, okay. Well,
because I tried to. That's what I tried to do the first time around. Was I was playing a map that might have had it, but I never heard it.
okay. But yeah, maybe maybe it's a mod, maybe it's like a mod or something. Because I know I went to one website. I know I have bookmarked that has stuff like that you can place around.
Yeah.
But it's not in the mod hub, so that's the thing. I'd have to share the link, whatever, so we have it. Yeah, or we do. I kind of want to do the Atari thing, honestly. That's kind of the tradition for me or my channel, that deal. Mm-hmm. So maybe set it up and then I can have you and something. Because again, 2 years ago I did that. That worked all right.
Or I could do. It doesn't have to be farming. I could do, because of the way I got my guy dressed up. I could do Grand Theft Auto or something too.
Yeah, you could do something like that. Yeah, we'll just have to. Guess, of course, we already went through the whole deck. I was like, well, I could ship you half the gamer trivia cards, and then we go back and forth.
Or we could.
I mean, there's probably an online thing we could.
Yeah,
figure
that's
out.
what I was thinking. Is maybe like maybe
Or-
we each kind of find our own.
Yeah.
Like-
Okay. Maybe that's something we do. Could do. Kind of make a. Yeah. You make up your own. I make up my own. We could do that. Kind of thought is because I'm not sure how to do it, and should be able to do it through Discord, but like a somehow there should be a way to easily put together like a watch party, like, but copyrighted material. But I was thinking, it's like, could we watch like Halloween compilation of commercials and like make a bingo game of of what we could potentially see or something or something along those lines. I don't know. But actually I kind of like we each come up with our own gamer trivia. Might be fun. If casual still watching, I don't know. Would that be something a viewer might want to watch, get into? Of course, he didn't see it, but we did it.
Yeah, he did. He
Was
saw
he
a little
in
bit of it at least.
last time?
Yeah.
Okay. But if we made up our own, kind of our own, that let's put that as an idea to mill around with. That might be what we could do or should do.
Well, and Twitch does guest star.
Not familiar with that.
I think it's kind of like Discord, where it just allows you to, if I like hit it, I think it would allow you to jump into my stream vocally, anyways.
Well, yeah.
I guess I don't know. I was thinking the watch party, but like, I guess maybe that's not the same thing. So maybe that's not.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to think is like if there was some video or something, like we wouldn't do this necessarily, but like if we ever wanted to watch our old videos together and then so we're watching them at the same time, so you can comment, but like that's what I'm saying. I don't know logistically how you'd put that together. I know there's a way to do it. Just not sure what platform would be best for it.
Yeah.
Because like I was thinking, because watch like old commercial compilations and then commentate on them, or like, oh, I remember that, or that kind of thing. Could be a thing. I mean, we could do that anytime, but I don't have very much. Let me dump in you.
Just go dump it in the truck.
Oh, okay. I was like, God damn it. Well, I'm only like 12%, but it's like I want to be able to make sure I could get it to the other end.
Yeah, well, you're that close to the truck.
Oh, I know,
but truck. Just go the extra 50 feet.
Well, I'm thinking the gamer trivia because we did that before. That was kind of fun for us, and actually, we did have a few people jump in, and
yeah. I would definitely tell John.
Well, yeah, him, but if I do some promotion ahead of time,
and I think that's part of the reason we had, because I mean, you made that video, and then even I was showing it. So
Yeah, so we'll do that maybe even weeks ahead of time too, and like every day leading up to it, kind of thing. Make some
yeah,
posts on YouTube. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe increase some engagement there. We'll just have to see when we can get started.
yeah,
We always made it work. Unless I guess that's the thing. I know what I did years past is pre-record and just play a pre-recording, which I might still do that, and then I could have like a 6-hour stream. Damn, this is one of their bigger fields.
yeah. Maybe the second biggest.
Yeah. Oh, kind of hoping Swan would maybe pop in. I know he's probably
He
working.
probably is working
Working.
tonight. Yeah.
Well, but maybe on a break or something. Mostly because I wanted to call out because I know you're not following it, but you saw me and his text go back and forth a little bit about Linus Tech Tip.
Yeah.
That's, well, some bombs have dropped, and I mean, now I don't want to say like they're done, but I mean, it's going to be a big hit to that channel. Some of the controversy and some of the stuff that's out about
Oh.
how they've been operating in the background. That was kind of maybe chime in, just by chat.
Yeah.
There's definitely more to come on this.
And then I don't know if I will be. I don't know what I'm doing next week, because I had talked about going out and seeing Derek.
Yeah.
But that also, and I got to tell him, but it also depends on how certain things, if they fall into place or when they fall into place. If I don't hear anything by Wednesday, I'd be
yeah.
willing to go out there. But I've got a few things. I got a few irons that if whenever they drop, then I need to. One of them's time sensitive. I need to handle. So
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of, and obviously certain things happen, but Fridays seem to work pretty good.
yeah,
Regularly. I mean, because I've been working down at the rental, trying to do more like Tuesdays and Thursdays. This I did Wednesday and Thursday. Try to do 2 days a week at least. But that was mostly because Tucker started school on Tuesday, and so I work from home and when I drive down there because I normally I just drive from work to there to Monday. I just needed to kind of recover that evening finish recovering from the hubbub of the car show.
Yeah.
Normally I do
yeah.
it Tuesday and Thursday. Right now until I get that all completed, which that's gonna kind of take a while. So Fridays are working better, and that's another thing. It's like, we're almost going an hour and 45 minutes here. Well, it's not a quote school night, so it doesn't matter. Otherwise, when it starts creeping over an hour, it's like, I better, because I want to kind of at least. I mean, this helps decompress, but there's sometimes other things I need to do.
Yeah.
Okay, Whereas on a Friday night, I can kind of be.
Yep.
While I'm cooking breakfast and I have you on in the background. But so I'm not always able to listen because just because when I cook outside, I can't hear it, watch it.
Yeah. Well, tomorrow I will be trying to finish my trek and get to Denver. That's my goal during the stream, is to get to Denver.
Okay.
And then because I'm gonna buy a truck hub there, and then I haven't talked to Casual since Monday, but we were talking about doing a convoy stream
Okay.
tomorrow with him and Sharky. I reached out to him earlier today, but or a little bit before the stream, but I also, when I sent it, I knew it was probably night for him, but I wanted to send it while I was thinking about it, so if he replied, it was at least there before I woke up.
Yeah.
So, and then like I was saying, kind of teasing everything, and then like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I actually have, for my farm stream, I actually have something a little bit different for me planned. But I think it's something that you guys will enjoy, so hopefully everybody enjoys seeing. So
Yeah.
it's I'm playing a map that I actually played played a while ago, and it was a map that I had a problem with mod conflicts on, and so I had to quit the map a lot sooner than I wanted to. So I want to give it another go. But anyways, I told Derek if I come out there, I'm definitely bringing the laptop and stuff.
Well, yeah. If you.
And we're definitely streaming on Friday night.
Yeah.
I said I'll sit there with them, and we're gonna stream.
Yeah. Definitely, and I'll just text me when you're gonna start.
I think, unfortunately, I think tonight's or Friday nights don't work for him well, because I think that's the night that Nikki wants to go out.
Yeah. Well, usually, and I mean they don't always work for me right now. It's good because I've got this other stuff, but probably when it gets back into winter and we'll switch nights or go Thursday or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like sometimes Friday get better engagement, chat and stuff. But I don't know. We can mix it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
You have more of a schedule. I do on your weekend.
Yeah.
Hey, it's whenever. That's what I was trying to do. Judge where I needed to be. Way I can cut. Yeah, actually, if you stream around the shop, see, position it to your webcam and he could show his boat off and stuff for a little bit of the stream.
Well, and he mentioned to me, he's
something
like,
like that. I mean, something like that. I mean, you know.
We might do something like that because he was like, he told me, he goes, you should come out here and make a YouTube video. And it's like oh,
yeah, like
yeah,
you could,
like,
I mean, you could literally, I mean, as long as you got the Wi-Fi connection, you know, good enough, you could literally just walk around with the laptop and do a thing like that, you know, with your webcam.
does it have a webcam?
Would think most laptops
I
do.
don't know.
Maybe yours
I
doesn't.
never looked.
I would think
I never
it
looked.
does. It'd just be up the top of this.
I
mean,
well,
doesn't your work one have one? I mean, pretty much thought in this day and
well,
age.
it did. It did. I took a sticky note and covered it up though.
Well, mine has a slider privacy deal, but
oh well, no, ours were not that new, so I just
Okay.
took a piece of sticky note
yeah,
and put it over
but
top
what I
of
mean
it.
is, I mean, yours should. I mean,
I think it does. I feel something, but I've never messed with it before.
well, see, I don't. I mean, I do use mine occasionally, but most of
I
them
would
I'm not
probably
because mine I just have it on the dock, and the way I have my monitors and stuff picked, I can't have the laptop open. It's just hooked into the dock, so it, you know. But sometimes when I need to show something, you know, I'm doing a training or whatever, I need to be on.
I'd probably just do it from my phone because then I could. Well, maybe I can't, but I would think that I'd be able to record and still see the chat. Maybe not.
No, you can't.
Oh.
No, it yeah, I that's what I'm saying. I mean,
well, maybe we could do like the kind of like a.
I mean, you could do that. You could do that. Wait a minute. I take that back. You can see the chat. It's just it's all on one screen. It's like overlaid. It's not ideal. I guess that's the thing. It does work like that, but it is not, because I've tried live streaming with my phone, and again, I might next weekend. So it'll be Saturday night. So you should try to watch if I can get the service is good enough and all that. I'll try and do that, but I guess I take that back. Yes, you can. It's just not always. It's not 100% ideal, but give it a try. I mean, you could just, doesn't work very good. It doesn't work very good.
Well, the other thing I could always do is I could always use the camera, and then if it's out in the shop, isn't that where his PC is?
I think. I mean,
or if not, I could always pull it up on the laptop and this use that as the chat room board, and it'd be kind of like a little bit rigged compared to, you know, like kind of like what you've got, but a little bit more jury rigged.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean,
where you've got the monitors off up in the air where you can read them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
he was
either
like,
way, you should do something. I mean, I get like
yeah,
that along with farm simming. But...
yeah, he wanted me to. He was like, you should make YouTube videos while you're out here. I'm like, okay. I told him, I was like, maybe we should get that RC that I got you out.
Yeah, tell him to make sure the battery is charged. Or they're so damn cheap, buy a second one for him, and then you can have extra run time. Because they're dirt cheap. I forget which type of battery it is, but I think I looked it up and it was like $15 or something.
Yeah.
They're stupid for for just the same watt hour one. Not bigger.
But like I said, he was really pressing me to come out, and I'm like, I'm not against coming out there. It's right now. It's like I have the time. It's just that there's certain things that I need to get handled, and
Yeah.
depending on where those fall and when they fall, I may not be able to.
Well, and I need to it's just so much farther for me, and I'd have to take it, make it worth it. Have to stay down there a couple days.
Well, he wants me to help him with the his Airbnb thing.
Oh.
He's like, there's some door need trim pieces on it and some stuff like that, and he's like you should come down here, and he goes, I got a little bit of stuff that he goes I need help with. He goes, I'd have to hire someone anyways, so if you come out here you can help me, and then we'll have some fun too. And I'm like, I'm not against it, but I just depends on how I was hoping to have everything this week, and it didn't happen. That's
Yeah.
fine, but I'm figuring it'll all happen this week, probably.
Yeah.
Well, and if that's another thing, if one of the pieces falls into place, I could probably just go down the week after too. It doesn't have. I guess it doesn't have to be next week. I just was, I could probably make it the following week.
I'm gonna stop at the end here, and I'll go back to the other end and see if I can make it up and back.
It looks like synchronized.
Yeah.
Synchronized harvesting.
Exactly. Cut that off, and then I'll see if I can get back down there and think I can make it clear to the end though.
You won't have to
Dumping
worry
it.
about it because
And then-
I've got 25% left, and I need to take it all down to the truck anyways. So I just figured I'd
Well, that's the
follow.
thing. I don't know if I can make it to the truck, and I don't know if the truck will hold. Well, this will help.
Well, that's what I was saying. I was like, I've got.
I mean, that's why those
25%
little
left.
tail end things are on there, is because can't quite make it to the end. Let's do the headlands up a little.
I did get some more fish last week. I got free fish last week, actually, to be more exact. Found well, it was a couple. I guess they were moving to Sydney. They were telling me, and from Lincoln, and they're like trying to find someone to just give these fish away to, and because they didn't think they had enough. You have to order to transport them that far. You have to have like these battery operated air bubblers, so they can breathe. And didn't think they had enough of them because they were gonna take a couple of what they had, but they couldn't get rid of these, and they tried. They had them posted on like a Facebook Marketplace type thing. Well, it was Craigslist actually, but anyways, I told them, like, I saw it a week before, and I said, well, if you still got them in another week, because they were like 2 days away. When I showed up, they were like 2 days away from when they were actually gonna make their move. And they're like, they had to be gone by then. I said, well, if you still got them by then, I'll take them. So I ended up, I don't know how many I got. I got a bunch because it was the mother and the father, and then all the little babies that they had. And
What type of fish?
they're an African cichlid, but they're like a mix between a couple different types. And for my birthday, someone else had. Well, this going back to my birthday. Someone else more local had my favorite breed of Africans, called Panuta Nairi, and they were selling them really cheap, and normally they're like $30 a fish, but I got them for like $1 a fish. I think actually, because I took them, or actually because of the deal I made, I think I got even more. I got them less than that even. I think initially it would have been $1 a fish, but I pretty much took. I told them I was showing up on this day, and I was like, "Let me know how many you have by then." I'm like, I definitely want 10, but I might take more if you've still got them. And they only had one other person speak up, so I ended up taking what he didn't, or they didn't want, and but they were so small I had to let them grow out, and they finally got to the point where it's like I could throw them all in there. So I threw all those fish in on all at the same time. So now my 90 is just full of all these different sized fish, and they're all swimming around. It looks pretty cool. One of them's one of them I got from the couple in Lincoln it's a true albino with the red eyes and everything, which you don't really see very. I mean, you don't obviously don't see that very often in nature or anything, but like there are white African cichlids, but you don't usually see them with their red eyes. So that was, I think that's kind of neat.
I see. How full are you?
I am at 96%, 97%. Yeah, so that was almost my whole, well, I mean, 25% to full, so. And I'll take the truck. Yeah, they thought I was gonna take they were gonna give me their tank for free and everything too, and I was like, but it was like it was a 45 gallon, and I only had the car, and plus on top of that, I had my mom and my sister with me, so it's like I had no room to take a tank. So I walk in there and they're like, well, here's the tank and everything. I'm like, so I can take your fish. I'm not taking the tank.
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, that may not necessarily be a bad thing. You know, like kind of like we didn't really want to get rid of the tank, but we're just like thought we kind of had to. It would have been it'd have been an all right tank. It would have been an all right tank for free. I'll put it that way, because it didn't have a cover on top, and so I would have had the way I like my tanks. I would have had to replace that and stuff, but I would have made do with it if I'd have. But I'm like, yeah, I didn't bring my pickup. I'm not planning on taking your tank.
Well,
no,
I
I'm
suppose
trained.
when I get this stretch done, I'm gonna go emptying the grain cart, and I think I might call it. Call it a...
That's fine. That's about normal.
Yep.
No, I train to keep a different strands of them in the tank, because if they're breeding, I'm like, I don't want them all just breeding the same family all the time, you know. Try and keep it a little variety in there. That's fine. We can well, either we can finish this another night, or I'll finish it, because
That's up to you. That's up to you. Finish it. I mean, yeah, I know there's not a lot left.
the reason I say that is because I'm thinking that when we get done with this field, that we were gonna skip ahead a month, and it might just be better that I just finish it before the next stream, and then when we come in here, then we're all set up for the next month.
Yeah.
You know what I'm might do that. I'll think about it. So we'll eventually cultivate them, but we're not gonna cultivate them right now. We're gonna move on to October. And we'll harvest stuff, I'm sure, just don't know. There's a bunch of things that come in October. If the fields are ready.
Cut at this end, see if then it'll shorten it up. So problem is we can't make it.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, if I'd have just hired a worker and just ran back and forth, I think it'd have helped.
That's all right.
We only have a few months, and then we'll be hauling all this stuff to sell. Out on the road. Good thing I'm traffic on.
All right. Well, I suppose.
Yeah.